Okay, it's a Saturday afternoon, being the 19th of January. Exactly 1 year ago I was in Frankfurt, actually. If you've watched the little Frankfurt series, if not, then please go watch that. There were 6 not long ago that I uploaded it, because I'm nearly a year behind with all my uploads, or at least have been, starting to catch up. Hopefully one of the aims of this year, 2013, is to catch up rather with it, so that's not like a year behind, but, well, maybe a couple of months behind in most cases. Maybe I'll even catch up completely, who knows, if I change the algorithm of uploading. The reason I don't do that is because I really don't like leaving films. When films are the top film, they get a bit more views, and I don't like leaving films with just a few views, like 20, 30. I prefer to give more, but sometimes I just have to trust that those views will come along later, if they're deserved, and trust the algorithm a bit more. Now, trusting the algorithm in YouTube is always a bit of a problem, because it changes, and it's sometimes difficult to work out which ones are going to get good associations and which ones aren't. And certainly having a few good a few good likes and comments and views at the very beginning is likely to get the machine, or possible to get the machine, giving it a bit more attention and giving it some better, related videos and things like that. Related videos all seem to have changed in YouTube. There was a time when related videos really seemed to be based mainly on things which were similar in content to what you've put up, whereas actually nowadays related videos seem to be as an accident. This is the sort of thing that happens if you don't use winter tyres. As you can see, it's obviously quite snowy, and the snowplows haven't been out properly, so therefore that limits the speed that we should be driving at. Some people don't think that they should need to limit themselves at all. Of course, I've got winter tyres, I've got ABS. I haven't got four-wheel drive anymore. I used to have it on the Jeep, but not on this. That's a triangle of things that I think, spikes being the next thing up, but they're not legal in most of the European Union except Finland. Chains you can have, and you should have if you're living in a sort of mountainous area in this kind of snow. Then you're going to have to deal with the fact that people drive in a way which isn't foreseeable. And if you have to brake in these situations, you might well go into a skid. You might go twisting round and round like Torvill and Dean on ice, which was very nice when Torvill and Dean did it, especially Torvill, of course. Not quite so nice when it's your life doing it, going round and round in circles on a fast motorway, like I did once on the M11 with my mother on my way up to the Cambridge interview. Actually, it was the one that I had an interview at Clare College. I didn't get into Clare College, but never mind. The reason I wanted to go into Clare College was mainly because of my deputy headmaster, who was really my mentor. And unfortunately, well, I've spoken about him in previous videos, the ones that I took in Hemel Hempstead. I liked him a lot, and unfortunately he committed suicide. Those two phrases aren't linked, but I've talked about him before, and no doubt I'll talk about him again, but I will talk about him no doubt many times. But in any event, how did I get onto him? Yeah, because I think about the guy a lot. He's one of the people that actually comes back into my thoughts again and again, and I'm really sad that he committed suicide. Those are the people that I've known and they've committed suicide, and honestly it's not because they've known me, I hope. You just shrug your shoulders and say, well, yes, you could see that one coming, but not my old deputy headmaster, and that was such a waste of talent and of, I think he was basically a very decent sort. I will talk about him at a different time. He deserves his own video, but anyway, and I also have to be careful how I speak about people, because there was controversy surrounding him. That controversy led to his probably his final decision, and I don't want to say anything which isn't right. I want to say it in a considered way, which isn't the sort of thing you can do when you're just driving around the car. So anyway, how did I even get onto him? Yes, because on the way up to that interview I went around in a complete spin. I wasn't driving, obviously I was too young, but my mother was driving, and that was really the worst spin, on the middle of the M11 motorway, which isn't a nice place to be, with cars possibly going by very quickly. Of course, in England nobody has any idea to put winter tyres on, and in those days you didn't have ABS, and of course four-wheel drive. My parents never had a four-wheel drive car, and so none of the sort of triangle of safety was present. I've at least got 2 legs of the 3-legged stool. I think if you've got all 3, you can really expect that you're going to be as safe as it gets, but you're still not safe in winter conditions. I had a Jeep I've still skidded, even though it had all 3 things that I've mentioned. It still skidded a couple of times and had some near misses. So the only thing to do when you've got this kind of conditions is to give a lot of distance between yourself and the next driver. You don't do the sort of stuff that you might do when it's dry and visible and everything on this, and not too cold on this kind of road, because you can get dry ice when it's cold, and it doesn't look as though there's or black ice rather, not dry ice. Dry ice is the stuff you get at discotheques. You can get black ice and not see it, so you can think that everything's fine, and yet the road is slippery. The only thing you can do is keep distance. That's about all you can do. And yeah, anyway, I just wanted to show you this. I actually had a lovely bird. I think it was a snow bunting, I think what you call it in English. You don't really get them very commonly in the UK. You get them a bit more in Warsaw because it's on their migratory path. Not that it's a bird that particularly relishes being in cities, but cities do have rowan trees often planted up, which causes, well, there's a little skid, but the ABS came immediately on. You wouldn't have felt that, but I felt it through my foot. Yeah, and that's not what I was saying out of my mind, hasn't it? Yeah, rowan trees and snow buntings. They like the berries, so and there's one or 2 on my house's, terrace area, the common parts area beyond the terrace, which is planted up. It's got some gwoggy, which is hawthorns, 2 hawthorns and 2 rowans are there, and they come and they get the berries. And one was just sitting at the top of a rowan tree. I could see it from my desk. I tried to take a photo, but even with the Canon, I don't have the right lens kit for that kind of work, and so, oh dear, I got to get off this. That's the way of the tram. So even with a good camera, I didn't get a very satisfactory shot of what would otherwise have been a fantastic shot. He even sat there for a few minutes while I was taking these shots from the window, and yeah, the shots just blurred. I mean, they're just all blurred. You can't get up close enough. I'll digitally zoom onto the thing and put them up somewhere, probably Facebook, or maybe I'll even append them to this film if I can remember to do it. But they're not brilliant. So I have to get, probably for my birthday this year, which is in May, I'll probably get myself a lens kit for the Canon, and that will allow me to do paparazzi shots on people, birds, buildings, you name it. It has a lot of use. It's good to have something that really can get you to zoom right up to something. It makes a big difference even to filming it. It makes a big difference. You see, then try and get off from zero, from naught, when you've got white snow, soft snow on the ground. Try and get up to 30 miles an hour or 50 kilometers an hour from zero. You've got to take that very gently as well, otherwise you're going to go off in all directions. Even with winter tyres, even with ABS, ABS stops you from going in all directions, I suppose, but it stops you from braking within the space you allotted yourself for braking. So even though it keeps you going in more or less the right direction, it stops you going all over the shop, as we say, it still means that you won't brake in the space you think you're going to brake in, and therefore you need more space in front of you, between yourself and the next car. If you've got ABS, it's more of a safety from not going from side to side or not doing Torval and Dean impersonations. So But this is Warsaw. This is what you expect if you come and live in a city in Eastern Europe. Just about any city, but Warsaw is one of the colder ones, obviously being more continental and more northern. It's not the worst by any means, but of the capital cities in the European Union, you've still got places like Riga. You can't see while things are like this. You can't see where the road lanes are either. That's not so fantastic. Anyway, going into work to do my quarter, and I think I've really gone past the optimal route. I ought to really turn this off and concentrate. But anyway, I'm showing you what it looks like. So there you are. You can see it.